Last minute turkey hunt, last minute. Whoa. I want you to see this, y'all. Look at that baby. I mean, last minute.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Game Table Kitchen. We just got back from a very successful turkey hunt in West Central Georgia. Had a blast doing it, and what y'all don't realize is that we walked about 500 miles chasing that one gobbler. It took all day for us to even get a bird to respond. We got it done, and this is the reward. This is our bounty right here. God's renewable resource, nature's original organic protein. This is wild game meat, in this case, wild turkey. What I'm gonna do today is go south of the border. I'm gonna incorporate a whole lot of neat spices, use some dried chilies that I've hydrated, and I'm gonna make you some wild turkey enchiladas with a ancho chili enchilada sauce and a black bean puree. All right, let's get started, y'all. First things first, got a pan on the heat, need a little bit of salt and pepper. Because the turkey in Meriwether County does not come seasoned, just like anything, got to give it a little bit of flavor. Very, very simple. A little olive oil. Oh yeah, we're ripping here. Season side down always, so that I can go ahead and get the upper side seasoned as well. That's the noise we want right there. Salt and pepper on the other side. All right, we're gonna let that sear for just a minute right there till it browns on one side. Flip it over, and then I'm gonna incorporate my vegetables. I've got these pre-chopped already. All it is half of a bell pepper, a full onion, a little bit of green onion, and some rough chopped carrots. That's it, that's what's gonna make our stock base. While that's browning, what I wanna do is explain some of the ingredients that we have today. The first thing that I'm gonna start with is what I've got in this sauce. I've got 2 types of dried chilies that I've hydrated in some hot water, pulled out and taken the seeds out. You can leave the seeds in there if you want to, but it tends to get pretty spicy if you do. I've left some in there. I like it a little spicy, but not too hot. Again, I've got 2 types. I've got chili ancho and chili mulatto. And basically what a chili ancho is a dried chili poblano. A chili mulatto has got more of a chocolate flavor to it, so I want to incorporate some of that sweetness into my enchilada sauce. It's typically, mulatto is typically used in things like moles. So we're gonna incorporate some fresh vegetable in that too. I'm gonna dice up some bell pepper, some onion, get them in a pan, have some nice tomato, some garlic. I've got cumin, I've got smoked paprika. I always use smoked paprika because it gives that extra punch. Mexican oregano. And that's basically what is going to incorporate everything into the sauce. Now the black bean puree that I'm gonna make is very simple. I've just got canned black bean. In this case I use Goya. I've got some cilantro. I've got some chopped green onion, tomato. Incorporate that into the pan with a little salt and pepper. I can smell that turkey browning in this pan right here, so what I'm gonna do is give it a quick check. As soon as we've got a little color on this, which is what we've got right here, beautiful, I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate my vegetables in there. Right when I flip it like that, beautiful color. Get these vegetables in there, and again, very simple, onion, orange bell pepper, roughly chopped carrots, and green onion. And again, like everything, build your flavors with your seasoning, salt, and fresh cracked pepper. Gonna let that cook down for just a minute and sweat those veggies slightly. And then I'll start adding some liquid. Actually, it's probably ready to add liquid now because I'm starting to get some crusting on the bottom of the pan. And that's what builds a lot of the flavor. When I hit my liquids in there, all of that black crusting on the pan is just condensed flavor. That's gonna basically loosen all that up and incorporate into my stock. 1 beer. 1 whole beer. Nice. And about half of a cup of white wine. And in this case, I'm using a Sauvignon Blanc. I find that it's sweet enough, but not too sweet, that it just adds a really nice flavor to this dish. About a half a cup. Who's measuring? Put it all in there. Done with that. So I'm gonna incorporate some water right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my wine bottle here. Very technical measuring device right here. I'm just gonna add this until it slightly covers the turkey and the vegetables, and then let this simmer until the turkey falls off of the bone. That's what's important. And then we're gonna pull it apart and turn it into enchiladas. Perfect. All right, now that turkey is all happy in that little hot tub of beer and wine and vegetables, let's go ahead and get started with this sauce. First thing I'm gonna do is take this bell pepper, take the seeds out of it, and this is gonna be pretty rustic too, because I am gonna puree this and make it into a very smooth textured enchilada sauce. Put a rough chop on this bell. Same thing here on the other side. Onion, same exact thing. Quick rough chop. You want about equal bell pepper to onion ratio. I use 1 full bell pepper, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a full onion here. I've got a pan on the heat over there. Let me get a little olive oil. Bottom of the pan there so my veggies don't stick. And I think we're about ready to start building this sauce. Salt and pepper. What I'm gonna do right here is just kind of brown these a little bit till they start to get some color, and then we'll start adding the chilies and the garlic and the liquids in there and let that marry and really reduce and condense those flavors before we puree it. Our veggies are getting some really nice color to them now, so let's get started with these chilies. I've got some that have been cleaned and seeded already. I'm just gonna put a real rough chop on these chilies and then throw them right in there with the vegetables in that pot. Again, it does not have to be fine because this is all gonna get pureed. And go to these ones right here. I'm gonna pull these stems and seeds out of them a little bit. Rough chop. Right into the pot. Give that a quick stir. Nice. The smell of that is amazing. Freshly diced tomatoes. Organic, of course. Right into the pot. As I've got some coarsely chopped garlic right here, I'm going to use about half of that. I've got plans for the other half. Go ahead and get that in there. I've got some dried cumin, one of my very favorite spices. I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of this cumin into this sauce. Exactly. And my very favorite spice. Everybody asks me all the time, they say, what is your favorite spice? Obviously, other than salt, my favorite spice of all time is smoked paprika. You can do so much with this spice. It is absolutely incredible. The smell is so wonderful, and the smoking of the paprika actually turns it a little bit sweeter and gives it a really nice flavor. Put about half a teaspoon of smoked paprika in there. Perfect. Dried oregano. Gotta have it in enchilada sauce. About a teaspoon of dried oregano. Put too much in there, it's gonna get bitter. Okay, give that a quick stir, and now it's just about time now to start adding some liquid. And as we have it here, our liquid is right here. This is one of the reasons why we went ahead and made a stock with our wild turkey. That wild turkey stock is going into my enchilada sauce. While that's cooking down, let's get started with these beans. Put the lid on my turkey real quick, Get this guy over to the hot heat. And again, a little bit of olive oil right into that little pan right there. I'm not making a ton of beans here. It's just a side item or a side dish to really highlight the flavors of these enchiladas. Start with my vegetables. What I've got is some freshly diced tomato, a little bit of green onion. Start getting those searing a little bit. I've got the rest of that garlic and some fresh cilantro. I'm not gonna put the cilantro in yet. I'm gonna give that just a minute. And there we go. There goes my onion. That's what we want right there. A little salt, a little pepper. I'm not gonna use a ton of salt and pepper on this because canned beans tend to have a lot of salt in them naturally. So if you add salt now early in the stage, they tend to be a little bit salty as the finished product. Alrighty, the rest of that garlic goes right in the pot. If you don't like garlic and onions cooking together, just get out of the kitchen. You don't belong there. At this point, we can go ahead and put these beans in there. And I did not drain the beans. The juice is in there too because I want that in there at this point. I need a little bit of liquid, and why not use the natural liquid of the beans? Okay, we're gonna throw a little bit of cilantro in there. A little bit of that cumin. And again, my favorite spice, smoked paprika. This is gonna cook for about 10 minutes like this, and then we're gonna hit it with the blender and get it to a nice smooth consistency. If I can do this without burning myself and everybody else. We're ready to get a quick puree on this. Be careful, it is extremely hot. I like to cover it with a towel and start with a low speed and just pulse it at first. Then bring it up to a higher speed. Look good enough. It still may be a little bit thick. We can always incorporate more liquid, but what I want to do right now is give this a quick taste and just see where we're at. Ooh, that's really, really good. It's just a little bit bitter. So what I'm gonna do right now is put just a little bit of honey in there. I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of honey in there. Local, natural, of course, if I have a teaspoon left here. Yeah, I got it. I like breast meat, but I've also got dark meat in here. So we're gonna go ahead and take apart this breast meat right now. This is very, very hot. And if it's tender, it should just come apart like that. That's beautiful. We're not gonna add anything else to this meat. This is basically the filler for your enchilada. All of the other flavors are gonna be in the sauce, in the beans, and any garnishes that I put on this dish. Next thing that I'm gonna do is I like to pre-cook my tortillas just a little bit. And the way that I do that is kind of old school. I'm gonna put them directly on the burner. I'm gonna take some of these pureed black beans, right on the plate like that. Perfect. Very simple. Enchiladas, we're just gonna stuff with some of this wild turkey. Roll it. That's one. Now, if you're a big eater, maybe you want 3, maybe you want 4. I don't know, I'm not that hungry right now. I think 2 is perfect for me. There's 2. Next thing, take the sauce, give that a little quick stir here, right over the top. Freshly grated sharp cheddar cheese right on top of this. And we're gonna pop these under the broiler for about 2 or 3 minutes. Do that right now and get that cheese nice and brown. You definitely want to keep an eye on that because this happens fast. They've been in there for just about 2.5 minutes here. Let's see what they look like. You know what, that's perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them out and get this dish finished up. Now the only thing that I'm gonna do to this, I'm gonna slide my avocado on here. make it look somewhat appetizing. A little bit of queso fresco goes on top. Beautiful. And some fresh cilantro. That's it. This dish is done. Wild turkey enchiladas over a black bean puree with avocado and queso fresco. I cannot wait to dig into this. This, folks, is why I hunt and fish. As I mentioned earlier in the episode, I've been chasing furry and feathered animals my whole life. I love hunting, I love fishing, and I love cooking, but most of all, folks, I love to eat. Let's get a quick taste of our reward here. We've got this beautiful enchilada in homemade enchilada sauce made from dried chilies. I cannot tell you how delicious that is. There's no way you could possibly know unless you do this at home. Folks, please, when you're walking down that grocery aisle and you see those great big raisin looking things that are called dried chilies, buy some, give it a shot, and try it at home. Especially with wild turkey like this, it is absolutely stunning. Gonna get a little avocado here in that bean puree. Going in one more time. That is stunning. That's another take on wild turkey that you may not know. Like any game meat, I like it to wash it down with a little bit of vino. This one is a Cabernet Sauvignon from Chile. It's got the right flavors and the right boldness to go along with these spicy flavors of the Mexican dish that I've made, so I really enjoy this wine. That just puts icing on this cake right there. Folks, thank you so much for watching Game Table TV. As always, please check us out on Facebook at Game Table TV and Twitter at Game Table TV. Thank you very much. Keep following us. We'll see you next time. Keep hunting and fishing, folks. And more importantly, kill it, grill it, and eat it. Thanks. Yeehaw. I'm going right back in.